Hello, I'm your host, Cinema Kane. Today, I'm going to be doing my top 5 romantic comedies of all time. In honor of Valentine's Day, I decided I should definitely do a list video with regard to my top 5 favorite romantic comedies of all time. So, I'm going to start at number 5 as always, and number 5 is the John Hughes written, Howard Deutsch directed, Some Kind of Wonderful. If you're not familiar with Some Kind of Wonderful, take the plot to Pretty in Pink. But now, instead of Molly Ringwald, you've got Eric Stoltz at the center of that plot. And it's the girl of his dreams over here and his tomboy best friend over here, and him having to come to the realization that the girl of his dreams is not really the girl of his dreams, because the girl of his dreams has been in front of him the whole time. It's literally the plot to Pretty in Pink, but with the sexes swapped. I thoroughly enjoy Some Kind of Wonderful. It's a fun 80s rom-com, in my opinion. It's actually, in my opinion at least, slightly better than Pretty in Pink. And part of the reason it's slightly better than Pretty in Pink is it uses the original ending of Pretty in Pink. By which I mean, in the original ending of Pretty in Pink, Molly Ringwald's character was supposed to wind up with her best friend Ducky. Well, in this one, the main character actually does wind up with his best friend as opposed to the girl of his dreams. Why the studio interfered with Pretty in Pink is beyond me, but they did. And at this point, it's too late to complain. So, yeah, number 5, Pretty in Pink. Number 5, Some Kind of Wonderful. Number 4, Clueless. If you're a 90s kid, the movie Clueless should already be on, like, your list of favorite comedies from the 90s. At least in my opinion, because, well, Clueless is a movie that is based off of, I believe, a Jane Austen novel. It's based off of the novel Emma, which is a romantic book from way back when. Never read it, but I know that it's based off of that. Point is, something that is based off of a romantic novel from way back that is then transposed into 90s youth culture, specifically 90s youth culture that is specific to an area like Southern California, makes for really interesting and really fun movies generally. So, you got this great ensemble cast with a bunch of up-and-coming actors of the time, and of course Paul Rudd in his second movie ever. And ironically enough, I've now done Paul Rudd's first and second movies on this channel, because his first movie was Halloween 6. So anyway, if you're a fan of rom-coms and you like the 90s, I highly recommend checking out Clueless. It's a great one. So that was my number 4 pick. Moving on, number 3. This one is going to be probably a little bit controversial, because my number 3 pick is 100 Girls. You're probably thinking, what the hell's that? To my knowledge, it never played theatrically, at least not in the United States. It is a movie set in college that stars a bunch of young actors from the late 90s, early 2000s, which is when it came out. And it's got Katherine Heigl in it. It's got Priscilla, what's her name? Jamie Presley. It's got Jamie Presley in it. And so you've got Jamie Presley, you've got Katherine Heigl. It's a fun movie, but the reason I say it could be controversial is because this movie has a bit of, as they say, raunchy humor in it. The raunchy humor in this case is that the plot to the movie is you've got a perverted Prince Charming who hooked up with a girl in the middle of a blackout, only to realize after they hooked up that he forgot to ask what dorm she lived in. So when he finally figures out the dorm, the only thing he's got to go on is the bra that he's now got to match to one of the girls in this dorm full of 100 girls to the panties that the bra match with. That's why I say it's going to be controversial, because while the movie itself actually has the character develop an actual understanding of who women are and that they are more than their bodies and all this good actually, growing as a person stuff, it starts off with this raunchy quest for, well, underwear. It's a fun movie. If you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. And yeah, so that was my number 3 pick. At number 2, I've got, it's on my Christmas list, and here it is again, Love Actually. I've already said a lot about Love Actually. I still love this movie. It is a romantic comedy. In fact, it's probably one of the biggest romantic comedies ever made, simply because of the fact that it is full of so many different types of love, and that's why I love that movie. So, finally, number 1, my favorite romantic comedy of all time, Say Anything. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s and you've seen the image of John Cusack in the trench coat holding the boombox over his head, blasting Peter Gabriel, that's what this is from. Say Anything is Cameron Crowe's directorial debut. He also wrote the script. The cast is absolutely spectacular in this. It's one of John Cusack's best, in my opinion. And personally, I think that it's one of those movies where I'd actually love to see a sequel where we actually find out what the characters are up to today. So there you go. My top 5 romantic comedies of all time. This Valentine's Day, if you're alone, like me, or if you're with someone, maybe check out one of these romantic comedies, because they are all a lot of fun, and I can't recommend any of them high enough. So, I'm your host, Cinema Kane, and I'll see you next time at the video store. Hello, it is I, your host, Cinema Kane, reminding you to like and subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell notification every time, so you know every time Cinema Kane has a new video uploaded. I'm trying to grow the channel, so if you want to recommend me to your friends or share this on social media, that would be great too. I'd highly appreciate it. And I'll see you next time at the video store.